What up, what up? This is Andrea 3 Sex, and you're listening to the Delicious Vinyl Station powered by Dash Radio. And today in the building, so excited, honored to have these guys. They're on Pharrell's label, I Am Other. They've worked with the likes of T.I. and Beyonce. Does it get any bigger than Beyonce, guys? Not really. Okay, so let's welcome Watch the Duck.
Hey.
We don't have the claps.
Thank you guys for coming.
One day goes.
Sound effects budget.
So, pitch in. Go fund me. First, let's introduce everybody in the room, the usual suspects.
It's V12, Victron, Lady V, Victoria.
Yes. Guys.
What's up, y'all? Santino. Just Santino for today. We'll keep it simple.
This guy.
I'm Jesse Rankins.
I am Eddie, and I am Pisces.
Congrats.
That's fire. I'm Reeks, and I'm Virgo boy.
I'm DJ Drolix, and I'm a Virgo too.
It's the Virgo corner.
My parents are Virgos. I like Virgos.
I feel like
It's
not
all right,
everybody
we
got to go
Pisces.
back and
I know,
say
like
sign.
Aquarius, by the way.
You're an Aquarius?
Yes,
Okay,
what
what
up?
are you, V? A Cancer? Okay.
Santino's a Pisces.
Right.
You know, fish gang out here. We be swimming.
Okay. We got a nice collection going on.
Oh, yeah. The album, Swimming with the Dolphins,
Yeah,
coming
be on the
soon.
lookout.
He's got a mixtape.
Hey, wait, what are you, Jared?
Jared is a Scorpio
okay.
for the record.
Oh, so you one of those? Okay. What's your rising?
Man,
Oh, my
let's
God.
get to it.
We can spend another hour.
I don't even know what that means. I heard someone ask me that the other day. I was like, I don't know what the hell a rising is.
I get up around 9.
Yeah, I wake up 10.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my God. Hilarious. All right, well, wanted to get into the interview, guys. So you guys are from Montgomery, Alabama.
Yes.
You grew up listening to Prince and Nirvana.
How you know that? Yes.
Research.
Okay.
I had time. How was their music different to what was going on in Alabama, like the scene?
The scene
I don't know
in
what
Alabama.
the music scene is like in Alabama. You got to tell us.
Well, let me see. How can I put it? The scene in Alabama, it really wasn't a scene outside of it. We had like one group, Dirty, and Deuce Comrades too. Yeah,
One group that was signed.
Yeah, we had one group, but it was crunk, man. It was literally, that was it. That was the scene. It was crunk, you know. And we got a lot of stuff out of Atlanta, so everything that came out of Atlanta was pretty much just coming right into the city. So we were big on Outkast and things of that nature. But the scene itself, though, like, we made fun wherever we went. Like, that's how the kids were growing up. Like, lunch table, PE, whatever. It was a party everywhere we went. We didn't eat much.
That's tight. And you guys used to throw parties too, right?
Yes. Know a lot.
Well, yeah, because, I do my research, but can you talk about any of the craziest moments at your parties? His eyes got so big right now.
You talking about the parties we used to throw?
Yes.
We had this one party called a 3P party.
3P.
Yeah.
Oh, what does that stand for? Please, you
I
can
almost
tell.
just want to let y'all,
figure it out.
yeah, just think on that
I
one.
think I have.
I think I got one.
peanut butter, peas and peanuts.
Yeah. But no, I think that we threw a toga party. You know, we threw a bunch of crazy stuff. We had
Themed.
it was always a theme. You know, you come up with something crazy.
Did y'all ever do an ABC party?
What's the ABC party?
Anything but clothes.
Oh, you know what? That was the Kappas did that, actually. The Kappas did Bear As You Dare.
Oh.
Yeah. So we couldn't jack nothing like that. Everybody had their own territory. We was known for a party called Area Code Party, where everybody pay the first number of their area code wherever they was from. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Don't jack that. That's still kind of dope.
That is hard.
Still might use that later. But yeah.
So I got a trademark and a patent on that.
I would have to pay $9. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's like the most. That's like the worst.
I would just.
I got the worst. Damn. I got that damn 9.
Yeah. But see, everybody, we was from Alabama, like people was from 334, 256, you know.
Okay, yeah.
But like a lot of people that came from other places did get taxed, though. We hit them. Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah, we got you for that 9.
How would you prove
I'm gonna need that.
Like, the ID?
We had so our door our girl would sit there, had the list of states and all the area codes. And so when somebody showed their license, there's no area code on your license, but people, like, they weren't thinking. They didn't think that. So when they said their license, when they showed us their license, if it didn't match the area code for that state, we knew they was lying. You know what I mean?
Y'all had it
They
down.
were
Yeah.
like sleuthing and shit. They were extra with it. I love it. Okay, I have a random question for you, Eddie. You cut grass to purchase your first keyboard? A Yamaha X5?
Is this show sponsored by the feds? Yes, I did. I cut grass, a Yamaha EX5, the ones that had the little floppy disk and everything that went in it. Yes.
Floppy disk?
Floppy
That's
disk went in there.
OG.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
What do you remember creating with it? Like when you got it, what were you doing? Were you producing? Obviously, you're the producer.
I was
of the
producing.
two.
I mean, every day, literally, I'll come home from school. I was in junior high.
Dang.
So yeah, every day I'll come home from school and I'll go in that room and that's where I stayed until it was literally time to go to school the next day.
Like Dr. Dre, fall asleep with the
Just
headphones
make-
off, that kind of a story.
Just making beats, just back to back beats. When I got that, that was it. You can tell me that because
Oh,
prior to
man.
that, I would have to go down to the music store every day and just make the beats there, and then like put it on a disc, come home, go
What did
back
they have
another
back
day,
then?
put the disc in there, finish making it, all of that. I was like literally go to the store and do it every day.
But how would you do that? Like what software? I know they didn't have no Ableton.
I was doing it on the computer. That's when you like track and everything, not on the computer, on the keyboard. Like you just sequence the whole beat on the keyboard.
Oh, with the little
Yeah.
like drum kicks and all that.
Yeah, see, that's I'm going OG on y'all. That was
I love it.
that was before like the computer didn't even really come into the process till later. Like
Before Logic Pro.
Yeah, I'm like trying.
that's like the MPC
Understand.
days though. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I started on the MPC. You did the whole beat on the MPC, and the computer was like that thing you dumped everything to when you finished it. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't in the mix like that.
Crazy.
That came like later.
Crazy. All right, now I have a random question for Jesse. So I saw that you were on Bone Thugs, a song with them called Fantasy. How did that come about?
A friend of mine, Thomas Dealer, I think I pronounced Thomas' name right. He manages this guy named Abaddon, and Abaddon is doing everything right now. And I worked with Abaddon a lot, and then Thomas just called me one day and was like, "Hey, bro, you want to work with Bone?" I was like, "Yeah, I love Bone." And so we went to the studio and cut a couple records, and that's just it. That's really, I wish I had a better story, but that's really how it was.
So you have some unreleased records.
Well, we did a couple. They only put 2 on the album. But I was just cool. Like, I could say I worked with Bone. Like, I grew up, like, I used to get so high to Bone in high school, like, so high. To that 1999 Eternal album.
Oh, my God, classic.
Because that's like, when I came of age, I got my license. So it's like,
Oh, shit.
songs like Mr. Bill Collector and stuff. Like, I call because, like, my homeboy, one of my best friends, like, my brother growing up was a dude named Brandon Burke. He thought he was Crazy Bone. Like, you couldn't tell Burke that he wasn't Crazy Bone. And, like, when I called him, I was like, dog, I just worked with Busy and Crazy. He was like, hey, man, put him on FaceTime.
Oh,
And I was like, hey, bro, I don't think they're going to really want to be on FaceTime with you. Did you smoke with them? Like, nah, I ain't smoked with them. I don't think they smoke like that no more. He was like, man. He's just like to live vicariously through me. So,
He
it was
had
fun.
his hair pressed like crazy.
Nah, he had the braids.
Oh, he had the
like,
braids,
nah,
like
what
the
they would call
OG.
baby hair now.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it was real.
The details.
Yeah, it
It's
was
all
real.
in the details.
It was real.
That's so tight. Working with people you admire.
Yeah, I mean, like the first time I met Pharrell, or
Oh, my God. Can we
or-
talk about that? Because
or
we
even
love
Beyonce.
P. Oh, my God.
Nah, everybody loves P. I mean, honestly, he's still the only person that I get nervous when I'm working around. It's like when I walk into a studio, I have no fear, but it's like for some reason when I'm around P, it's like I just want to impress him. So I end up just fucking up.
How do you fuck up?
Cause it's like, like you have to believe in what you're doing. And like I might be doing something, but if he starts singing, I'm like, man, why don't we just do what you did? But it worked the night we did Stretch 234, the song that we did put out together, because we have a few songs that we did together.
Right.
But the night we did Stretch, he really hit us and was like, hey man, I got it. I got this beat. Come to the studio. So we went to the studio and he just started playing it. And then he was looking at me like,
Aggressive.
but it was so hard because it like the energy just felt like, because the Neptunes was like my favorite production team. Like if it wasn't for the Neptunes, I don't think I ever would have wanted to try to be like a producer or a writer. I always wanted to be a singer, but how people made the beats, I ain't caring about all that. But like but he reminded me, had that energy of like, you know, you don't have to call and stuff like that. So it was like, next thing I knew, he was playing it. I was just like, shout it, keep working. I gotta get the bills paid. You know what I'm saying? And like, he was literally like where you are. He was looking at me like, I was, you focus on what you want, you can have anything. And he was like, Shawty got the bills in back there. And I'm like, yeah, about to get tuition paid. We was really going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? He was like, just go in the booth, go in the booth. And that's how we did it. Like 15 minutes, it was just done. It's like, I say something, and he'd be like, act like you're at the spa. You know what I'm saying? Nah, cause that's well, you was there. You know what I'm saying? Cause I'm trying to think of the words, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, don't be worried about your nails. And I was like, cause I don't write. I just be like freestyling. Yeah. And he stopped. He was like, act like you're at the spa.
Yeah.
All soft-spoken and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like seriously. And he just sit back. And I, you know, girl, you move like a dancer. Don't let me interrupt. Keep your mind on what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, don't watch me. And he was like, and at first I was like, in the background, I was like, good God. Because I was in my James Brown voice. Yeah. And then he stopped. He was like, you know, I think you should say watch the duck instead of good God. Because good God kind of dates it. What do you think?
You sounded just like it.
And at first I was like, you know, you don't think that's going to be kind of corny? And then he ain't going to fight you. He was like, okay.
That is
but then he'll have that look on his face though.
Like,
he'll sit back and his energy will change, and he'll be like,
okay. I just got like 30,000 hits. I mean, you don't have to listen to me. You know, and then I came, and I was just like, man, and then Eddie was like, nah, Jesse, man, I think you should do it. And I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna try it, man. Come on, man, whatever, man. And he came on like, why the duck? He was like, see, I told you.
So humble, but like low key, like
yeah, nah, but you know, he's just like, okay,
like, whatever you want to do.
I'm just me.
That was the most accurate Pharrell impression I've heard in a
That was
long
good.
time.
Yeah,
That was
real.
pretty-
You be
You
on
really do
him.
be around.
You snapped on that one.
Now you do. It's like it's. But I like that though. I like that silent confidence, but just the humility. You know what I'm saying? It's not like over the top.
Right.
I mean, being from Alabama, like that's how I was raised. Like I'm not flashy. You know, like I like to do the work. You know, like if you good, you ain't really got to do all that. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you got to make all that noise, then you probably can't do your job that good. And you want people, you know. So I just like people who just show up, do the work, go home.
Right. So how did Pharrell approach you guys and sign you to I Mother?
Well, it was a long process. It was it actually started with the song we did called G Shit with Tip and Jeezy. And I'm on the hook or whatever. So tomorrow, it was the first year that Tomorrow World, the festival Tomorrowland, but they did Tomorrow World in Atlanta. So I was at Tomorrow World. We had just played Tomorrow World that Saturday, and then that Sunday I went back with some of my friends, some of my homegirls. And we were just like really getting really lit and really fucked up and having a good time. And David Guetta was playing. And then I got this call, and it was Elliot, who is T.I., who's Tip's engineer. And he was like, hey, man, I'm like, yo, Elliot, you out here, bro? I'm lit. He was like, man, hey, you know, Pharrell wants you to come to the studio. And I'm like, hey, man, get off my phone. Playing, dog, man, I'm not having a good time, man. You know, get a killing, dog. You out here? He was like, no, Jesse, like, I'm kind of not playing. Like, Pharrell's kind of standing over me right now, kind of looking at me. Like, matter of fact, you're on speakerphone. He hears you. And I was like, Pharrell can hear me.
Oh my God.
And, so he was like, man, can you come to the studio? So I'm like, okay, cool. So mind you, we're in the woods 45 minutes outside of Atlanta. So I had to get in my car, which was parked in between some trees.
Oh, wow.
I had to sober up real quick, like, don't tell the police. And drive like an hour into the city, you know, on weed, a couple mushrooms, you know, and some liquor. So, you know, you just kind of got to focus and, like, you know,
Lock in.
the colors aren't real. They aren't real.
Like a little bit more concentration.
Yes,
Yeah,
these passing yellow and white lines and these cars in front of you, they're real. Everything else, it's not.
And Pharrell's asking you to come there.
And Pharrell. And a little bit of like how some say how God works. Let me tell you how Jesus will fix it for you.
Testify.
So I hit 85. It's like as soon as I hit like Atlanta city limits, you don't have to call. It comes on the radio.
Oh my
Shook
God.
it.
I almost had an accident because I sped up just getting. I'm gonna get there. I hear you, God. I hear you. I'm coming. I'm sorry. I'd never be in the woods doing mushrooms again. So anyway, like I get there. This is a true story. Like I get there and like we didn't know because Eddie and Jonathan at the time. Well, Eddie got there before me. So at the time they were recording the "If You Ain't What You Do, Give It To Me Right." They were doing that song that night. And so Eddie calls me. He's like, "Man, Jesse, man, how far away are you? Because I'm standing next to T.I., Usher, and Pharrell. Dang. And they paused their session. They're kind of waiting on you, dog. Or you close them like, hey, man, just tell them I'm down the street. I'm like 20 minutes away.
5 hours later.
But I'm driving. I'm going to get there, bro. So by the time I get there, I didn't get a chance to meet Pharrell and Usher. They went on back into their session. I met Tip that night. And that's the night we did G shit. And then after that, Busta Rhymes called. We was actually having a Scandal party. We was watching Scandal.
Wow.
And Busta Rhymes called. He was like, "Yo, son, y'all niggas is crazy, dog. I saw y'all." Nah, dead ass. Like he talked just like he rap. He was like, "Yo, y'all niggas crazy, man. I was watching 106 in Park, man. I saw that Freedomville video. I saw y'all in the motherfucking outfits, man. I said, hey, man, I gotta call these niggas, man." So, so we got cool and we got to talking. And then like we was on the phone one night. He just started calling. He was just called. Like, Busta's like a really cool dude. And he was just always calling me like, "Man, yo, Jess, you good? Yeah, how he doing? Y'all good? Y'all ate?" Like, "Yeah, man, we ate. Thank you."
Real one.
And I was like, "Man, actually, man, I'm trying to like link up with Pharrell because, I didn't get a chance to meet him with, he was like, man, fuck that. Come to New York tomorrow. I got a session with P the next day. I'll walk you in and introduce you to P myself." Wow. So we jumped on a plane, went to New York, met Busta at like One Oak. We hung out with him at the bar talking shit. He was like, "Man, don't even worry about it, Jesse, man. P cool, dog. Like, don't even act like that. I'm like, you gonna walk in with me." Literally the next night we walk in, he was still wearing the hat and shit from Happy. You know what I'm saying?
The hat hadn't debuted yet.
Yeah, he was.
The world hadn't seen the hat yet.
Yeah, he was still wearing it in real life. You know what I'm saying? It was cold as hat. He just had on that hat. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, it's cold as fuck, bro. But anyway, so that's how we linked up with him, and then we started that dialogue. He was like, "Man, I've been wanting to sign y'all. I've been looking for y'all." And this is like 2013, 2014. Wow. We didn't actually sign with him until years later. But it's just, we kept in contact, and, that's kind of how it goes.
That's so tight. Man, dreams do come true.
That's fire.
Shout out to Busta for that.
He really
Busta's
looked
my
out. Dude, man. Love Busta.
He's a real one for that.
Love Busta.
Yo, I wanted to ask, because, you mentioned Tip. When I was listening to you guys' music, you guys actually bring, I like the fact that you guys bring T.I. out of his, like, gangster element, and he does, like, just different. He's rapping over just way different sounds.
At his request too. I'm gonna tell you something. We tried the whole Tip element. We was just like, okay, when we first were like, "Yo, I got some beats." We was playing him stuff. We would play him some stuff like, okay, T.I. like something like this. And he stopped. He's like, "Man, but what that crazy stuff that y'all do?" Like literally was like that. Like I want that crazy stuff y'all do. And so we started playing on tracks, and Tip just go in the booth and go.
Yeah.
Like that night he talking about, we did like 5 records one night. That's our first time ever meeting him, by the way. You know what I mean?
That's sick.
That's crazy.
And that's what he wanted though. Like he wanted the vibe that we was on, and he always encouraged that. Like always pushes toward it.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that he really admires your work ethic. How would you describe your work ethic? Obviously, you did 5 in a. He said, I read that he admires your work ethic. That's why he really fucks with you guys.
That's because we always in the studio.
And we Southern, man.
We always in the studio. We always
live
work.
there.
We always work.
Studio rats.
Yeah,
hey,
like it's
Jinx.
we just always like I think that's even before Watch the Duck, I think we built that reputation. It's just always been in the studio. We always trying to get better. It's always another level.
Right. And this started with the Bama Boys. You
Oh
guys,
my God!
Please tell us about the Bama Boys.
People started calling us the Bama Boys because they couldn't remember our names. And since we actually were boys from Alabama, we started calling ourselves that because it just stuck. It was like, nobody had to wonder. Like they'd be like, "Oh yeah, come here, Jesse." And at the time, my homeboy Jonathan was with us, and nobody knew, so they just be like, "Bama Boys."
Yep.
And it just stuck. Ira Dotson actually was the first person to call us the Bama Boys, and then Matthew started calling us that, and it just stuck. Bring me the Bama Boys. So after that, it was like, okay. And when you leave Alabama, we didn't know that there was like a saying that people call people Bamas anyway. And we damn sure didn't know that was like a derogatory term. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, the first time somebody called me a Bama, I was like, yeah, I'm from Alabama. I didn't know that it meant like I'm slow or something like that. So, but anyway, it was just, we liked it. So it's like it stuck. It stuck. Shout out to Matthew Knowles.
You guys, you guys interned at Columbia and you
Well,
worked
he did.
on.
He did.
Yeah, can you tell us about that? Because you've worked with Beyonce, like I said.
Yeah.
You did Why Don't You Love Me? You produced for her. I believe you did some Destiny's Child remixes.
Man, we
How
did
did the
Yo,
internship develop into all of that, all those opportunities?
a lot of fast talking. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of fast talking.
Put us on game, please.
It started off, first of all, that internship was only supposed to be for people that lived in New York. So I had to lie and tell them I lived in New York. At
got
the time, I was in
somebody's address?
Yeah, I had an uncle out there.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I
Perfect.
still have an uncle out there.
The art of finessing.
Yeah,
Yes, always.
Harlem too, like real Harlem. Like it would not
Not this
like
gentrified-
not Starbucks Harlem, Locum, all that. But it's he was there, so I used that, and I literally flew out there with all my stuff, like bags and everything. Told mom I had the internship, but I was flying out there for an interview, literally with everything that I have, But anyway, that ended up working out, and I initially they was gonna put me like in the jazz department or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that,
The jazz. That would
Yeah.
be crazy.
I don't know
But
what would
not-
have happened had that
yeah.
happened, but I asked him, was there anything else, anywhere else? And I was like, well, you kind of got to just move and ask a couple of people and see if they got something open. And I ended up meeting this lady, Quincy Jackson, who was at the time the product manager for Destiny's Child and Lil Bow Wow at the time too.
Ooh,
Yeah,
2 for 1.
yeah. So it was, and who else? Jagged Edge, all the So
Wow.
Def stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, I came in there. Mind you, I'm wearing a suit.
Oh, you were.
I ain't know nothing. You know what I mean?
But it's
They told
better
me
be overdressed than
Right.
underdressed. You look like you were professional.
I had
Like,
a
really about your
suit
business.
and tie, full whole
Okay.
thing on. First thing she said, you can work here, but you gotta lose that suit.
Power
So
suit.
yeah, it worked though. It got me in there, but yeah. So it was really her, and she's working with she's product manager for Destiny's Child and Beyonce, and so Matthew Knowles was in and out all the time there, at the building, and they at the building they used to call me 9 to 9 because I would get there at 9 a.m. and I wouldn't leave at 9 p.m. Like literally, whoever needed something, like whenever she left, I just went over to like the next bay and would just, y'all need something? I'll work, like, whatever. And that's how I got to know everybody on the floor. And so Matthew got crazy hours too, like he don't never stop working. So he would always see me or he'll call, and whenever he'd be like, oh, I need this, or a copy of this. This is back too, to let y'all even know. This is back when people ask for copies of like Billboard. Like let me get the sound scan. Let me get what do it. So I was real good friends with the copy machine. And so I would get all of this stuff and I would get it to him ASAP quick, and it got to the point like he would call up there and ask for me, like the intern, like, yo, put Eddie on the phone. And they'd be like, why? Because he'll need something, I'll turn it around quick. So that's how me and his relationship developed, to where I even so much so I invited him to come to Alabama A&M, the college we was at, to do a entrepreneur seminar at the time, and which he also did not know we had a talent show planned that he was the host of. That he that's what I said. It's a lot of hustling, man. It took us a long time to learn how to do stuff right, but it worked out for us. But he ended up hosting that talent show that he did find out about after he got there, But so it started there. It really started from there. He liked the way, long story short, he liked the way we got down, because when he came to the school, he got to see all the parties we was doing. He got to see kind of how we had the campus moving. He was like, yo, can y'all do this in Houston? Now, mind you, at this time, he knows nothing about us making music. If you notice, everything I'm talking about is like marketing and promotions and like admin work and stuff like that. So he don't even know we know anything about making music, and I didn't tell him anything different at that time, because I'm like, yo, he interested. So let's stick with that for now.
Exactly.
So he in true to his word, he was like, yo, in the summer y'all come out to Houston, and just kind of bring this energy. We need this energy, And he was right though, because in Houston, like they were in Houston at that time, Music World and the whole label, everybody knew who they were, of course, but they were like a completely separate entity from the city. It wasn't like they were like, they went out there throwing parties and nothing like that crazy. And, Beyonce kept to herself, and she was always on the road touring anyway. And that was pretty much it, and Slunge like mad young at the time, like 16, I think. But
Doing Johnson Family Vacation.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what she was doing. So we came out there and he was like, do what y'all do. And he pretty much gave us like license to just throw parties. And that's exactly what we did. That's exactly what we did. I'm talking about like we was putting commercials on TV. We was wild. Like it was on. But that's how we got started.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I read that you guys were super hyped the day that you played Beyonce, Why Don't You Love Me? What was her reaction like, or what was that like?
Well, I mean, the day she played it for us.
Right.
Because
My
like
bad.
Solange, now you straight. Solange wrote it, and then
So
B
Lars wrote that?
B was coming.
yeah.
B was coming into town, and actually like that day, like we was in the hallway just messing around. And I was like, I be dancing when I don't think nobody looking at me. And then I turned around. She was like, "Oh, you just gonna get it, huh?" And I was like, well, I didn't know nobody was here. I damn sure know you was here, but hey, cause she was always so nice to us. Like honestly, like she was the sweetest person in the world. And she was like, "Ooh, I just thought about something. I got something I want to show y'all." And I'm like, "Okay." So when it got when it got everybody, and then we went into the studio, and then she was like, "Y'all just sit right there," and then she just played it. And when I heard the track, I immediately was like, cause Solange had told us that B liked the song.
Yeah.
She didn't tell us that like B had recorded it.
Whoa.
Because like all of them like to surprise you. You know, Solange used to mess with us like that too. So B didn't say nothing. She just pushed play. She was like, "Y'all sit right here," and then she pushed play. And the song came on. I'm sitting there jamming, you know, and I'm like, and then I hear her voice like, you know, cause she starts from the beginning. "Now, honey," you know, like, and I was just like, and I was just looking at her like, "You heard?" I'm just like, and then she was looking back at me like,
Yup,
like, yeah,
did that.
I know. And then she played us, well, I think If I Was a Boy, and I think Single Ladies.
Wow.
She played us all that like
Man.
like that day in the studio. So it was
Shout out Tricky and Dream.
Oh, Tricky Stewart. I just tweeted about him the other day. One of my
Yeah.
favorite producers.
Yeah, so it was a good day. It was a good day.
Wow, that is crazy.
We didn't know them at that time neither. That's
Yeah, I ain't
crazy.
know who they
I told him about that. I was like, man, we was in the Matthew office when Single Ladies came in,
We
man.
was in a whole nother world.
That's
That's crazy.
legendary. That is
Now,
freaking
I mean,
legendary.
we spent a lot of time. We spent like, you know, a decade just behind the scenes, you know, trying to get on before we even made our way to Watch the Duck. You know, and really that's where Watch the Duck came from. Like Watch the Duck came from that frustration of like always feel like you have to ask for your food. You know, like it's nothing against anybody, but it's like when you're only a producer or a songwriter, you know, you do well, and you know, but it's still like I have to convince you to do it. I gotta sell, you know, I gotta do this. And that's cool, but it's like, what about these styles and other songs that I got on my hard drive that people will like these too, I think. And then one day it was just like we were throwing these house parties at the crib in Atlanta at what we call Freedomville, and we just started filming it. And it was one of our songs, and it just worked. It just did good. And after that, it was like, okay, see, I knew people would like this stuff. You know, I knew like maybe if I'd have played it for this artist, they wouldn't have gotten popping off, but people do. You know, so it's like now it's like we still work and, you know, pitch songs to people, but it's like, oh, this one, you know, like I know now, like if I hear something like, no, I just want to shoot a video to this and put this out. So it's like that.
Tight.
You guys bet on yourself. That's dope.
I love that.
How'd you guys get the name Watch the Duck?
Well, everybody sees a duck swimming on top of the water, but nobody pays attention to how hard his feet have to work to push himself forward. Like nobody really cares about what's going on under the water, meaning like nobody cares about the work that you put in. Like right now we're doing this interview. I don't know what y'all did last night or today. I don't know how many days you've been awake or even if you're gonna get to sleep tonight. You know, I'm just here for my interview and I'm going home. So like this interview was the duck, but what you gotta do in order to get yourself through that day, that was a defeat. And I just feel like if you're a dreamer, that's just what it is. And like I told y'all before, like, you know, we were Bamas, you know, and we didn't know that was a bad term. But it's like, you know, like my uncle used to always say, like, you don't always have to let people know what you know. So Watch the Duck was our code. You know, because we Southern and, you know, we talk the way we talk. You know, sometimes city boys think they can talk over your head or like you ain't gonna catch on. And like, we'll be like, man, you know, watch the duck. And then you be like, you know, the response is, you know, you see it. And really they be like, what did you say? We be like, oh, nothing. You know, keep going. But really it's just like, it's to just to let everybody that came, all my partners know y'all caught this, right? Like y'all see the bullshit that's going on right now. We'll talk about it in the car. You know what I mean? And it was just the code. So then when we put out Popping Off, we had to call ourselves something. And then we just looked at each other and bust out laughing. And it was like, watch the duck. Let's get a duck head. Let's get a mascot.
Let's
go.
go.
You know, so it was like that.
And now you guys have your own imprint. Children need to exercise.
Children need exercise.
What is your vision for that? Are you signing artists?
We will. We're developing some young artists now. Okay, I'm gonna try to say this fast. Since we went through what we went through in our struggle, I'm just not in a rush to sign young artists. I would rather work with an artist and get them to a certain point to where they can help themselves and we can help them. Then if they choose to want to sign with us, cool. But just because we write for you or work with you or even give you tips don't mean like you need to sign to me, because I'm still doing my thing. Like I may not have time to put my stuff into you, and I'm just not with that. But we do have some people who we look at, who we like, and if we can vibe and do what we got to do, then yeah, we can talk about it. Children Need Exercise was just more like, it was just us. Like we feel like we big ass kids, and you know what I mean? We never want to stop playing. So it was that kind of thing.
That's great. So more of artist development, and you have like your secret roster.
Yeah, we do have people that we're looking at that we love, like just young and just dumb talented. You know what I mean? It's almost like I feel like the industry is like school. So it's like Children Need Exercise is recess. Like let's go outside and play.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you why you named it that.
Let's go outside and play. Like our studio sessions are fun, man. Like I'm not.
I believe it.
I'm not trying to sit in here and like what you want to do. Like let's roll up, let's smoke, because I can do all that and still work. Like I'm a Gemini, so I need fun. I can't feel like I'm locked in or like I got to be responsible. Like you gonna kill my mood. The way we gotta laugh and joke. Let's get serious after that. Like once we get all that, then we can get serious. You know what I mean? But while we creating, it's got to be fun. We got to be smiling and laughing. Let's have a conversation. Get to know about your life. We're going to talk for 3-4 hours. You know, we probably going to make a song in 30 minutes. But the song going to come from that conversation because it's a therapy session. You know, I get to know you. You know what I mean? And then the music going to flow. So that's really where it comes from.
I noticed that your sound has changed a lot. You were more like electronic, and now it's going into more of a soulful direction. Like There You Are is like, I love that song, by the way. That song is so good. The video. But what do you think changed that direction? Why did you start going into the soulful direction?
For us, we were always soulful. You know, we're from Alabama, and I'm a gospel boy. You know what I mean?
In the choir,
that's just what it's gonna be if I'm singing it. But for us, watch the dubstep at first was more like a statement. You know, it was more like Prince would do this. You know, he would do a guitar solo. Or for us, we wanted to do dubstep or electronic, you know, music just to let people dance right there. You know, and then it's like being dudes from Alabama. It was like nobody would see this coming. You know what I mean? So it was like that. But then, and also we thought it was a statement that would never put us in a box. It was like, okay, if we show people we could do all this with music, then we could do whatever the fuck we want. You know what I mean? But then we figured out, like, once you put that out, then people expected every song to have a dubstep drop. You know, it was like, okay, and that's cool, but that's not what we got into it for. You know, we just kind of wanted to be able to tour with certain people, and I like crooning, but I ain't trying to be on stage boring people and putting people to sleep. You know, it's not a show, it's a party, baby. You know, it's a total party. But then, you know, as you grow, we did a couple of EPs like that, and you know, to my heart, I'm still just a sing. I'm still you know, I play my guitar and I want to sing love songs. You know, I want to see women smiling at me in the audience, you know, and stuff like that, not just dancing the whole time. And then, like, you know, I'm going, you know, you go through stuff in your life that I want to write about. And that doesn't necessarily lend itself to, you know, like, you know, There You Are was a freestyle. Like, I literally woke up, I had been in a very long relationship, and then we broke up because, you know, being an artist, being on the road is kind of tough to maintain some kind of home. I'm leaving it at that. I fucked up my home. Okay.
It's okay.
And you know, I'm like, you know, I'm a honest person, so I'm like, well, I'm not gonna hold you back. Let me go out here. If I'm doing wild stuff, let me go out here and be wild. So I woke up after a wild night, and went to the studio, and I just made a song about everything that I missed. You know, like I let go of a loyal person that I really, really cared about, and you know, now I have these other women that I thought I wanted, but I know they don't care about me, and the one person who does, like, I couldn't treat you right. So it was almost like, you know, I didn't even know that was in my subconscious. But then we went to the studio and we started playing. It just came out. You know, I miss you more than a little. I want to be where you are. And it just, you know, it just flowed. But it's like, and once we started doing it, once we had that song, and then we did Somewhere in Alabama. And then with those songs, it was like, man, well, maybe this album, let's just go in more of a song direction. You know, let's go in more of like and it just worked. Like Delayed Adulthood is one of my favorite projects that we've done. So I gave you a long answer, but that's kind of where it comes from. Like it doesn't limit what we can talk about and how we can connect to people.
Yeah. Great answer, by the way.
Thank you.
Very thorough and honest. We appreciate your transparency. That's what makes good music
Usually.
at the end of the day.
Art
Let's be
imitates
real.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's therapy.
So you guys have a show coming up at the Peppermint Club. What else is next for you guys?
What we're taking date by date. Like we're not doing a tour right now because we haven't put out a new album. But we have to stay connected to the people who love us. Like looking at people in the eyes is like, it makes you remember why you want to do this. So we're gonna do the Peppermint Club. Y'all please come. You know,
Yes,
we'll
we'd
come for
love
y'all,
to.
like take care of y'all Friday. Tell everybody in LA. We just did Austin last Friday. Yeah, last Friday, a week ago today. We're working on Denver. We're gonna do some stuff in Houston, Atlanta. But right now we're just focused on LA. We're gonna have a good ass time.
Love to come. Thank you.
All right, nah.
Like we gotta go, guys.
Wait, is it next Friday? Wait.
Yeah, next Friday.
Oh, I'm there. I love the Peppermint Club too.
Yeah, we
so.
just put out a video to our song called "Showing You Off," which is, I'm gonna say this the best. It's a celebration of women.
I saw little clips on
Yeah,
the gram.
yeah,
I was like,
yes,
okay.
yes,
And
yes,
then you were
yes.
like shouting out the ladies. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, okay.
you know what I'm saying, and like it's not excluding anyone. I'm just saying this, but it's more of a celebration for women of color, too, because you know I was raised by a woman of color. I was nurtured by women of color, and I just feel like they, you know, women of color they get passed over a lot. You know, not just by the media, but even us as black men. Like we know that they're gonna be there, so I think we kind of take them for granted. You know, it's like we know that you love us, and yeah, you're gonna be there when I stop fucking around. You still gonna love me, like just like my mama. You know what I mean? And it's like I just wanted to have a song to where we just exalt them, and I let you know, like like you are appreciated. You know, everything that you do, all women. Because let me get me wrong, if you take all of y'all away, I don't want to be here no more. But you know what I'm saying? But specifically, I just wanted to pour some love back into the people who pour so much love into me.
Beautiful, beautiful. I gotta check it out. It dropped today, you said, right?
Well, the video came out 2 days ago, Wednesday.
Oh,
But then
okay.
you got time. I mean, it lives on the internet forever.
Yay, I'll check it out.
If you follow us, y'all follow us on Instagram. It's on our Instagram. So
Perfect. We're actually almost out of time, so maybe drop your Instagram, your handle.
oh, our Instagram is @WatchTheDuck. It's no ebonics. Watch the duck. No spaces. Yes. Proper
But I
English.
think Santino had a question though. Did you want to ask your question before we leave?
I was just gonna ask about one of your EPs was named after a phobia of a duck watching.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask how did y'all just like have that in the chamber, or where did that spawn from?
Man, actually, what's my guy that was at Spotify? Tuma, yeah.
Oh, we used to work at Revolt.
Yeah, actually, Tuma, man, we were having dinner with Tuma in Atlanta, and he told us about the fear that a duck is always watching you is a real thing, and he said it's called a naughty die phobia. And I couldn't shake it after that. I just couldn't shake it. Like it was like at the time we was recording, we was like just kept coming back to that. Like, man, that's just real weird. You know what I mean? So we just thought it was appropriate. You know, like yeah. So that's literally
Amazing.
that's literally where it came from. Yeah.
Hi.
Yo, I just wanted to ask, like, what's you guys' concept for the cover art for Trojan Horse, and I guess switching it to adulthood?
Well, okay. It was a move because like our thing, everything we do is a campaign, which is why we're shooting so many visuals right now to a lot of songs that didn't have visuals. Because originally we were gonna call our album Helen of Troy, Alabama.
Oh.
And the Trojan Horse was supposed to be the prelude to Helen of Troy, Alabama, like the Trojan Horse. I'm sure y'all
Yeah.
the Fable of Achilles and stuff.
Yes.
But then after we put it out, it just felt like, okay, well, we cleared that chamber. And then like the late adulthood is more like, I feel like how we live, you know, like we're, you know, in our 30s, you know, I never been married, I don't have any kids, you know, I'm still out here chasing my dreams, you know, doing fuckboy shit every now and then, but I'm still kind of an adult at the same time when it suits me, you know what I mean? And it's like, I just feel like there's a whole lot of us that are like that. I mean, even people who got kids who probably shouldn't be doing that stuff, you know, still be doing it. And it's like, I can't, and I'm gonna be honest, I can't fault you, bro, because you gotta live until you die. You know what I mean? Like, and where we're from, like being from the South is almost like by 30, you're supposed to have 3 kids, be married, you pretty much your best part of your life is over.
Wow.
You're at this point, you're just kind of waiting. No, seriously, I mean, like a lot of times, like it's like about 30, 35, it's like, oh, you too old to do that. You too. I'm like, why, man? Like if I want to go to the club tonight, why I can't go to the club?
I always say that. I'm like, bro, why do you be hating? Like, let older people swing their mojo.
Yeah, right. When you get to this age, you're not gonna just want to not watch Netflix every night. Like fuck you. You know, so it's like I'm gonna delay my adulthood till I die, because when I think about being an adult, I think about my parents. You know, and their generation was different than ours. Like I feel like now, parents and kids are a little bit closer in generational gaps than they were when we were coming up, born in the 80s. You know, like my parents didn't like hippity hop and stuff.
Oh,
you know,
no, none of that.
But now when I ride with my nieces, shoot, like they like the baby, I like the baby. You know, turn that shit up. You know what I mean? So it's like delayed adulthood is more like a way of life. It's just like, yeah, I handle my business, I take care of my stuff, but man, I'm going home. I'm finna roll up as soon as I get to the crib, like you know, and catch up on Pose, because it just came back out. And I really love that show. Man, I love that show.
I gotta watch it. That is one I've been meaning to check out. Thank you for reminding me.
This
Pose.
show called Pose. My little sister put me on it, man. That show is so good.
Yeah. There's so many good shows.
You know, I'm
out
delaying
right now.
and I might hit after hours a night. You know what I'm saying?
As you should.
So it's like to answer your question, bro. It's a way of life. Like it's just a way of not. You can be an adult, you can still do your thing, man. But you know, you still go out and have a good time, man.
That's fire.
Yeah, age ain't nothing but a number. Honestly, I believe that.
Unless R. Kelly says it.
I don't even want to. I was just like, Aaliyah, you know what I'm saying? I know.
Just listen to that phrase.
That's the only person. That's the only
I
person.
to quote it.
That's the only person who you should listen to if they say that.
Never listen to that man. Robert Kelly is canceled.
Other than that, yes. Age ain't nothing but a number.
On that note, thank you guys so much for coming in. I hope you guys had fun. I really enjoyed the interview. Thank you guys for being so thorough.
Yeah.
Come by anytime. Honestly, you guys are amazing.
Where can I find you guys' music at again?
iTunes, Spotify,
Apple Music, everything.
Apple Music, yeah. Actually, and if you go to our SoundCloud, I think every project that we put out is on our SoundCloud, because the 90 Phobia, we haven't put it back up yet. Because we own the masters, so we had to like go through all that and then wait till we put it back up. There's a mixtape that we did called "Don't Watch Me," and it's only on SoundCloud because we couldn't get it cleared. It was so many features and stuff. But we couldn't we had a budget to pay for all that shit. But it's on our SoundCloud. Don't Watch Me is like one of the hardest things that it might be my favorite album that we've ever done. Like I love Don't Watch Me.
Okay, I'm gonna check
like
that out.
We got a song with Busta, song CeeLo wrote is on there.
Wow.
Cat Dahlia is on there. Trey Truth is on there.
What?
It's just we put it out and it just the label didn't support it at the time, so it's like people just don't know. Like if you don't live in Atlanta and you won't run like one of our hardcore fans, you don't even know that it exists. We put it out in 2014. In between the 90 Phobia and the Trojan Horse. But go to our SoundCloud. Don't Watch Me is hard.
And it's just on there chilling.
It's just chilling. It's got like
Ready to be
4,000 plays. It's just hard. You know?
Perfect. All right, guys. Well, we will see you guys next time. Take care. Thank you again.
Hey,
Bye.
Yeah.